Welcome to another explainer. Look, today we are absolutely dismantling the old, tired myths of social media growth. If you've been feeling stuck, wondering why your follower count is just completely flatlining despite literally giving it your all, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to reveal the true 2026 blueprint for building an audience. We are moving way past that surface-level advice and getting into the absolute core of what actually makes people click, watch, and hit follow.
Okay, so let's just dive right into this pretty jarring truth. Most creators out there think growth is all about having insanely good editing, buying a vastly better camera, or just hyper-obsessing over picking the perfect niche. They're dropping thousands of bucks on lenses and crazy effects. But honestly, what actually drives growth is fundamentally different. It's about attention engineering and perception building. Social media isn't just about content creation anymore. Because if you don't master the psychology of human attention, honestly, the most expensive camera in the entire world is not going to save you. To get you to that absolute level of mastery, we're covering 5 strategic areas today. 1. The new social media reality. 2. Decoding the attention algorithm. 3. The psychology of virality. 4. The 3 stages of growth. And finally, 5. Building your content ecosystem. It's a packed one, so let's keep moving.
Right into Section 1, the new social media reality, which is all about building a character. And here is the biggest reality check of the whole explainer. People do not follow content, they follow identities. Think about it. Nobody wakes up thinking, man, I really want to follow a guy giving AI tips today. No way! They want to follow the intelligent, small-town entrepreneur who is actively decoding modern life. It changes absolutely everything about how you plan your strategy.
And this perfectly illustrates that every massive creator you know is, at their core, a very well-defined character. I mean, when you think of Mr. Beast, boom, you instantly think of extreme generosity and massive scale. Gary Vaynerchuk, he is the literal embodiment of aggressive hustle. Jay Shetty brings calm wisdom, and Alex Hormozi, pure, ruthless business clarity. Right? They aren't just throwing random videos at the wall, they're projecting a highly specific persona. So you really shouldn't be asking yourself, what should I post today? The real question you got to ask is, who am I becoming online?
Which brings us right to Section 2, decoding the attention algorithm. Because now that we know we're building a character, we really have to understand what the algorithm is actually tracking when people see our faces on their feeds.
Here's the harsh truth. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they do not care about your hard work. They literally do not care how many hours you spent editing. They don't have feelings. What they do track are brutal human behavior metrics. They're looking closely at stop rates, like do people literally freeze their thumbs when your post pops up? They track watch time, replays, shares, comments, and profile clicks. If your beautifully edited, highly educational post doesn't trigger these raw, primal human behaviors, the algorithm is just going to bury it.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that your first 2 seconds carry all the weight. If you lose them right there, the rest of your content practically doesn't even exist. Your opening line has to instantly trigger something visceral. You've got to spark tension, contradiction, or some deep emotion. For example, instead of saying something boring like, here are some career tips, what if you said, the internet just destroyed traditional success? See the difference? That works because it instantly creates curiosity, a little bit of fear, high relevance, and conflict. It literally commands that stop rate.
Moving right along to Section 3, the psychology of virality. Let's decode the hidden truth behind why humans actually hit that share button, which, as we all know, is the holy grail of algorithmic growth.
What's super interesting here is the actual psychology behind sharing. We tend to think people share things just to be helpful or pass along generic info. Absolutely not true. People share content when it serves them. They share to make themselves look smart to their group chat. They share to validate a belief they already hold, to attack a common enemy, or to boost their own social status. Maybe they share when a creator helps them explain a hidden truth or predict the future. The point is, virality is rarely about the information itself. It is almost entirely about the emotion and the status attached to hitting that share button.
Look at this stark contrast in action. If you post generic info like top AI tools, sure, someone might save it, but they're definitely not sharing it. But use a hook like AI will replace lazy people and wow, you just created massive identity tension. It triggers fear, it validates the hard workers out there, and it aggressively attacks the lazy enemy. Emotion will always spread faster than plain information. When you're scripting your hooks, you need to be aiming for that identity tension over just listing out generic facts. And that brings us to a massive realization that honestly should change how you view your entire content library. Small creators post content. Big creators create belief systems. Let that sink in. If you want to grow, you've got to stop acting like a small creator just blindly posting generic tips. The biggest creators out there are building massive movements around phrases like escape the matrix or build in public or deep work. People flock to creators who help them explain the world. Your bold, unapologetic opinions matter so much more than your safe, middle-of-the-road tips.
Okay, so how do we actually execute this kind of perception warfare? Let's dive into Section 4, the 3 stages of growth. We are going to break down the real game of social media step by step.
Here's how this entire thing builds logically. We always start at stage 1, which is attention. And here's the secret. At this stage, quality actually doesn't matter as much. It's just getting total strangers to stop scrolling by using strong hooks and bold statements. Then, once you actually have their eyeballs, you must immediately transition to stage 2, trust. You build this by proving you're actually worth listening to. You show consistency, authenticity, and you share your worldview. Because if you skip this step, you might go viral once, but you'll instantly fade into obscurity. Finally, we reach stage 3, the cult. This is the absolute ultimate level. This is when your audience starts repeating your catchphrases, fiercely defending you in the comments, and emotionally investing in your success. And that only happens when your content deeply reflects their own identity.
Now, I want to share a quick secret to help you fly through those stages, especially when you're trying to build trust. Stop trying to look completely perfect. I mean it. Most creators try to manufacture this image of absolute polished success, but humans just don't connect with perfection. Honestly, it's kind of alienating. What humans actually connect to is your messy, authentic evolution. You want to document your becoming. Show us your confusion, your raw ambition, your learning moments, and yeah, even your failures. Your journey itself is the content. That is exactly what builds a fiercely loyal following.
All right, we made it to Section 5, building your content ecosystem. This is where we take all this psychology, all this identity building, and stage progression, and we put it into one cohesive, unstoppable machine.
As you can see, you literally cannot just blindly post and hope for the best. Small creators do that. Strategists, on the other hand, build a full ecosystem where every single format serves a specific psychological purpose. Think of it like this. Reels and short-form videos, those are your net. They go out and grab the attention. Stories, that's your living room. That's where you build the actual personal relationship. Carousels are your classroom, establishing deep intellectual authority. Your comment section is where you nurture the community, and your DMs, that's where you drive actual conversions. Every single post needs to have a strategic job. Which brings us to our final core principle. And honestly, this is the defining truth for creators right now. In 2026, raw information is completely free. Literally anyone can pull out their phone and look up how to do anything in seconds. What does that mean for us? It means your personality is the only truly rare commodity left on the internet. You don't need millions of followers right out of the gate. What you need is a recognizable mind.
This right here is your ultimate defense mechanism. AI can generate endless information, but it absolutely cannot replicate your unique perspective. It can't replicate your emotional experience, your worldview, your specific story, or your natural energy. That is your moat. For example, if your specific positioning is being an intelligent youth navigating the wild chaos of modern life, AI, and business, that is incredibly powerful. Why? Because it's relatable, it's aspirational, and it's deeply emotional. It's a voice of real human transition. No machine on earth can fake that specific, lived experience. Your energy and your worldview build an impenetrable wall around your personal brand.
So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to really ponder as you go plan out your very next post. When the whole world is flooded with infinite, perfect, machine-generated answers, yes, AI can generate your information endlessly. But can it replicate your identity? Focus on building your character, engineering true attention, and leading a real movement. Because that is how you win the real game of social media. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.